Ezekiel 5:16. It
When I
says,
shall send
"And when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and I will break your staff of bread." This is a Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. It's all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, Yahushai being the name, but only begotten Son. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect preaching word and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona camp. Lord well with another video to edify. And I'm gonna play a little bit of this video that the elder out there in New York put up, and go into a few precepts, because the breaking of the staff of bread, this is something that's been, multiplying upon weeks now, right? You've even had India sit there and say, I think it's India, sit there and say that they would know they put a ban on exporting wheat, which that kills the supply chain more. One of the brothers in the camp even brought out an article that stated that, or it might have been in an article that I put. Let me try to grab that. Here it is. It says India bans wheat exports. India has prohibited all exports of wheat with immediate effect. The country's Minister of Commerce and Industry announced on Friday. The minister said the drastic move was necessary due to a sudden spike in global prices of wheat, arising out of many factors, as a result of which the food security of India, neighboring, and other vulnerable countries is at risk. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine put the world on the brink of a major food crisis, as the two countries are major suppliers of international market to the international market, accounting for around 30% of the global wheat exports. 30%, a third, right? A third of all wheat exports. And now you have India sitting there saying, "Nah, we're not letting nothing go." Right? That says food prices around the world have soared by a third, with the UN warning that some 44 million people are heading towards starvation. You see? And this is a catalyst for all out hell. Now I'm gonna play this video and get some precepts, and Lord will this all be edifying. Hey, and this is why there's some stuff coming in. Right? Imagine when nothing's coming in. Right? This is the starkness of the scriptures. Ezekiel 5:17. It says, "So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts that shall bereave thee, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I Yahweh have spoken it." And this is gonna happen on all the earth, right? What you're seeing, these little spouts here and there throughout these other countries, and now everybody's holding on to what they have. Like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, 3:1, it says, "To everything there is a season, a time to every purpose, and a time to every purpose under the heaven." Right? Now, when you jump down, it says, verse 5, it says, "A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing." And that's what you're seeing. People are refraining from embracing. Verse 6, it says, "A time to get and a time to loose." Right? The time of loose is over. People are going to hold on and hoard up everything that they can. It says, "In a time to cast away." Right? This is the time we're in. You have to understand the times you're in. Right? Famine is very crucial. The things that people will do off of food alone is going to surprise you, right? Scriptures tell you, friends, get this in the New Testament. This is 2 Ezra 6, and I started 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. And they're in a sown place. They're in a grocery store. Suddenly, that place is going to be barren. Nothing left. Nothing. And I've had dreams in the past, and I've done a video on it before, to where I go in the store, and suddenly, it's like a couple days go by. Things on the shelf, and it's within 2 days, maybe even hours. Things on the shelf, people fighting for the last things on the shelf, to people going home mourning because there's nothing left. This is the time we're in. It says, the full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. And what do you think is going to make people fight against each other like enemies? The fact that all these people throughout the earth, man, right? And we always get on Jake in America and these people in America, but really, that whole Edomite mindset of always fucking eating, that's a problem globally, right? Over there in China. And you think it's not as bad, but over there in China, over there in Japan, right, child obesity had started to become a problem, right? Big ass kids was becoming a issue over there. So it's not just in America, but it's in all these other places. And since they've been able to eat so much so often, right, and you take a meal from them, they got a term called hangry, right? And it's actually true. It's not just a term, it's actually truth, because this is why people get agitated, and then after they get a meal in them, now they're all pleasant. This is why your woman bugs out, because she's so used to gorging, right? And people are so used to gorging that when they take things away, when you have nothing in your stomach, the agitation is going to shoot up, and you're not going to know what to do but to get violent, right? It says, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell there, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run, right? The scriptures talk about the traffic of thy rivers when it's going into Babylon, right? So that spring of that traffic, meaning that commerce is going to be shut down. There's a thing called demand destruction. Look it up. This is how they're driving the markets, right? Let me get this one. Second Ezra 15 and 18, it says, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And this time it's going to be a terrifying thing, because cannibalism is going to come back in full swing. There's no food on the shelf. You don't know where to go. Uncertainty is all in your mind. Where if a person walks past somebody who's weak, who they believe they can take over easily, and at least they can eat for a day, that mindset is going to put so many people in fear, right? Knowing that anybody is going to be your enemy, every fight can be your last. Watch that movie Bushwick. That movie Bushwick hit, man. right? And even if that's not the way you go down, right? Gunfire with the government, that constant state of unease and having to be ready for every battle, that's going to be a normal thing. It says, verse 19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. For the lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? What do you think these police are going to do? They already got gangs, right? They know where to go. They do all the routes. They travel the city, right? They already got the guns. They got the credentials to do certain things that you don't. So not only you're going to have to worry about the everyday person, but you're going to have to worry about these police gangs, these gangs of niggas, these gangs of Edomites, because they're going to be rolling around because of that lack of bread, as well as you. Right? Repent. You don't want to be stuck in this. For the men and women that have done what the will of the Lord said, what my servants shall eat. But for those that have not, you don't want to be out there like this. Right? Let me get this one. Going into that cannibalism. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 58. Start at 57. It says, thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall together, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. It says, and they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger. Right? So those people that think they're gonna live off the land, get to the wilderness, live off grid. What happens when those animals don't come by you? Where you haven't propagated any type of land, right? With random fruit trees and everything that's not that aren't planted there. At least within certain cities, you'll be able to jump into somebody's backyard and grab a orange or something off a tree, possibly. Right? You might be able to come across a store that might have a bag of chips in it still. But what happens when you're in the mountains and you gotta wait for the food to come, and it don't, and the Lord ain't with you? It says, they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. Right? Cannibalism, self-cannibalism. Get this one. I'll close it out on this one. Man, that staff of bread is being broken, man. This is Isaiah 9 and 19. It says, through the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, the land is darkened, and the people shall be as fuel for the fire. No man shall spare his brother. It says, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry. He shall eat on the left. Right? This is going into those days of famine, bro. And they shall not be satisfied. Right? They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. Self-cannibalism. Right? This is what's coming. So wise up. Lord will Zedifine. I'm going to say, call Allah, Yahweh Shemi Al Shai, by Shem Karkadash. Shalom Akim.